Alright, in the last video we have actually worked on our Vanguard sheet and we have recorded them down into page 10, the shapes and the development. So you can see that the development has changed from a quite squarish to a more roundish, more flowing design. So now let's move on to marking out the cardboard. Okay, so before we start marking out, you should have this stationaries ready and also a glue gun. So cardboard, ruler, pen knife and pencils. Alright, so once we're ready, we can start marking out. So how do we mark out? First, get to page 9, then put cardboard onto the dimensions as given. So you can see 12, 10, 12, 60, 85 and 73. So put it just slightly aligned, okay, align properly, and then you can start making 2 points on each side of the cardboard. Then after that you can join the lines together to make the marking out lines. So once this is done, return to the back and mark out the lines on the 10 and the 12. Okay, basically the bottom two lines we didn't mark out on the back part of the cardboard. So it's important that you get the order correct. The front and the back, label them the front and the back. Okay, so the front has two lines which is very far apart and the back has two lines which are very close at the bottom. So next, once you're done, we can start cutting them. Remember, you need the cutting mat. Okay, so put a pen knife and the ruler, cut it, but do not cut through, just slice the top layer of the cardboard. Okay, do not use too much strength, just slice the top layer so that you can actually bend the cardboard. So once this is done on the front side, turn to the back and then slice the top layer, okay, of the cardboard on the two bottom lines so that you can fold them. Okay, so you're creating a folding line for the cardboard. So now you can see that once these lines are made, the shape of the phone stand can be readily seen. So now we will start marking out the shape that we have designed onto the cardboard. Okay, so we take out the Vanguard sheet template and start to draw the outline onto the cardboard. So just have to trace them and try to be as accurate as possible so that the lines will be symmetrical. So once this is done, you can start to shade and cut them. Okay, but before you cut them, make sure you shade out the parts that you plan to cut out so that you will not be confused when you are cutting the cardboard. Okay, shade them in the line that is slanting at one same angle. Okay, so once you're ready, you can take out the pen knife and start cutting. Right, so when you cut, do not hold it too upright. So it should be, the pen knife should be as slow as possible and hold it with your 3 finger. Okay, first 3 finger, hold it as slow as possible. When you slice the cardboard, try to go through as many times as possible to cut the layer. Do not cut too deep. Okay, cut shallow, cut it shallow and cut it layer by layer. Cut it many times so that you can get a nice clean cut. Okay, of course you have to ensure that your pen knife is sharp. Alright, so if the tip of your pen knife is not sharp, you can actually take off the back cover, cover of the pen knife, and then you can break off the blade to find the sharp tip. Okay, so now we are cutting the middle part of the cardboard. Okay, so cut it slowly. Okay, ensure that you get the lines correct. Okay, do not be impatient, do not cut too much at one go, because when you're cutting, especially when you're cutting curves, right, the curves you need to turn the penknife slowly with the angle. Okay, cut it layer by layer, do not cut too much at one go. Okay, you can also just cut off those parts that could not be cut off. Okay, just be patient with it. Right, so now we can come to the more curvy part. Okay, so when you're cutting the curvy part, you need to go even slower in terms of the curves. Okay, so that you don't accidentally cut the other part of the cardboard. So cut the top layer first to get the lines, then go through again. Okay, to go through a little bit more. Okay, so cut shallow layer, and then cut little bit by little bit. Okay, turning the pen knives. Okay, you can also turn to the back. Once you have cut to a certain depth, you can turn to the back and then finish off the shape. Okay, so you just have to be a bit more patient and slow down on this step, especially for curves. So this is done. So now you can actually fold it, and then you will be able to see a nice shape, nice design. Okay, next we're going to fix the angle of the cardboard, okay, with the hot glue gun. So once the hot glue gun is warm up, you can start to glue, but glue on the small piece first. Okay, glue on the side following this order. Okay, so these two fold needs to be about at 90 degrees. So apply the glue to the opening of the cardboard. Okay, just fill up the gap. Okay, don't need to be too much, but it should be enough to fill up the gap. And then once you fill it up, okay, let it cool down. Okay, be careful not to touch the hot glue, it is very hot. Also the glue gun, especially the tip of the glue gun, is very hot. So be careful not to hurt yourself. So once that is cooled down, then you can start to apply on the other fold. So remember, fill up the gap with the hot glue. Then you can go to page 10. Alright, sorry, page 11. Go to page 11 of your handout. Then map the angle, okay, from your model to page 11. Okay, follow the angle and then hold it there and let it cool down. Okay, you can figure out if it has cooled down by just wiggling the cardboard a little bit. So once that's done, you can actually find that it stays in its shape. Okay, it stays at the angle. So next thing you can do is to test. Okay, you can take out your mobile phone and test it. But of course, the cardboard model may not be sufficient enough to hold your mobile phone. Okay, but that's it. Okay, it is done.